Well, Brad, I'm sure moments like that never get old. Just describe the emotions of seeing that puck go in, and just how does this kind of change the complexion of the series for this team?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously felt good for the group. We had a good game. We had a better second half of the game. Obviously, we didn't start the way that we would have liked, but I love their resiliency. You know, we battled back from 2-goal deficits, and you know, we just competed the way that we know that we can, and yeah, it feels good, but it's all about doing it again the next game. You know, they're going to come out hard. You saw the way that they prepared for the game tonight. They have that killer instinct right now, so we have to do a better job preparing to start the game and then carry it through.
I mean, Carter, this one's for you. I mean, you got a couple of points tonight, but I mean, throughout the playoffs, you've been throwing the body a bit more. You've been throwing some harder hits. I mean, how has that physicality kind of opened things up for you to have a game like you did tonight?
Yeah, I think it's kind of part of our whole team's game. Everyone kind of throws hits, and I think, yeah, maybe I've been learning from Benny a little bit, watching him the last couple seasons, but yeah, it's just we're a physical team, and everyone's laying the body, finishing checks, and it's the playoffs.
For either of you guys, Brad, you kind of mentioned it, but it seems like the first 3 games of the series, whenever either team seems to maybe get a chance to seize the momentum, the other team comes right back with a goal or a big hit or something to kind of get the momentum back. How do you, I guess, maybe get, with a team that's this tough, maybe get more control of a game?
I mean, it's tough. That's part of why they're such a great team. Part of what makes us a good team, too, is you don't sit back after you get scored on. You know, you want to have a big bounce back shift. It's a pivotal point in the game when you can respond after a team scores. And you know, when you have 2 teams that are competing at the highest level and that are deep, you know, that those things happen. So it's just about really making sure that you focus on the details. That's usually where those shifts are won and lost, are the little details. You know, so you got to be really prepared to manage those after a goal.
For both of you guys, just how big was Bob in overtime, especially with the way things have gone for him this series, maybe some puck luck not going his way, for him to have a moment like that to help you guys stay in it, to be able to have the chance to finish this one off?
Yeah, we trust Bob. I mean, he's been unbelievable. Even, yeah, sometimes some puck luck or whatever, but to say, like, it's on us. Been giving up a lot of stuff, and he's been back there shutting the door. And I mean, we trust him, and he's our goalie. He's brick wall back there, and we love him.
Brad, on your winning goal, you obviously get a bit of a bounce at the net there, but I'm just wondering on that play what you see, what you're thinking.
Yeah, well, you could tell they were tired. They were just kind of sitting back. They're normally very aggressive. And they were collapsed pretty low. So really just trying to look towards finding a lane to get it through. You know, they were trying to front some pucks, and we had a couple really good opportunities, but really just kind of coming in and trying to change the angle and get a better shot. You know, there's some traffic in front, and you know, in overtime, there's not a bad shot you can put at the net. So obviously a fortuitous bounce, but you know, that's what happens when you put pucks there.
This is for Carter, just because you were here before the trade deadline, the fourth line with no second, those guys. And I know, Brad, you played with them a couple years ago, but how much of a boost did those guys give you guys tonight? It seemed like they were all over the place.
Yeah, those guys are awesome, and they've been grinding hard for the last couple weeks. Some of them not playing much, and they work so hard out there, and they turned the tide for our team tonight, and they were heavy on pucks, played in the O-zone, were forechecking, and I mean, they're all great players. We're such a deep team that we're fortunate that, I mean, those guys can come in and make a huge impact in a playoff game.
Brad, that you mentioned they were tired on that shift. You guys, I think, had been grinding in the offensive zone for a while on that shift of yours. Could you talk about wearing down the defense by keeping it in there?
Yeah, the line before us, it was Swaggy's line, did a great job at getting in, creating some havoc and sustaining pressure. And then Iron Lungs over here stayed out, and you know, while we were in the midst of a change, he won a couple puck battles and kept it alive, which is what allowed us to kind of sustain that momentum. And then a couple really good deep pinches, and like I said, we had a couple good looks, but once you get a line tired, especially that late in the game, they kind of collapse and normally tend to front pucks, and that's what we did, and we were able to make a couple plays. We had a couple good looks before that. I think it might have been you that had a good shot before, but yeah, and then when that happens, sometimes you're able to take advantage of it.
Brad, you've had 4 overtime game winners now. There's only like 5 or 6 guys in NHL history to have more than that. The guy to your right is one of them. What, even for someone?
I remember those.
You were there for a few of them. I didn't bring that up. Even for somebody who's done as much as you have, just what is that moment like when you get that ultimate walk-off moment?
It's a blur. Honestly, it all happens very quick, and you're exhausted at that point of the game. But it's 1 second of a game. It could be anybody. I think what creates those opportunities are the guys doing the job that lead up to that moment. A goal being scored is literally, a 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second. And the details that go up to making those plays happen are really what where the work is done. And it's a one battle. It's a pinch, a good pinch in a puck. It's a reload. It's a block shot. It's a save. And those are the moments that lead up to those goals. So, yeah, there's guys that end up capitalizing on it, but it's the plays that are made, for the 65, 70, 80 minutes before that lead up to those moments.
Yeah. For Iron Lungs over there, what do you appreciate about Marchand and how what stands out to you about how he's finding a way to elevate at this time of year?
My poker game?
No, he brings so much life to our team, and he's so energetic, and obviously you see what he does on the ice. He's such a great player, and I've just been around for so long, and I mean, yeah, not that long, but yeah, he's a player performer, and he scores big goals at big moments, and he's done it all. Won a Stanley Cup, and I mean, yeah, he brings so much life and energy to our group. Good looking too. Yeah.
Brad, it's become a tradition now after every win. If there's a plastic rat on the ice, the players are shooting the rats at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel to become ingrained in this team's culture now?
It's awesome. I mean, the group is incredible. And it's a very easy group to feel at home with. One of the biggest things that I noticed when I came in here is the way that the guys work. And when you work that way, you work the way this team does, you have a lot of fun, and you build a lot of unity together because of that. And obviously the team's been through a lot of big moments and tough moments as well. And you bond over that. And coming in, everybody, embrace me and welcome me. And, I feel like I've built some really, really good friendships already in a very short period of time. But also when you see what the team is doing and what we're trying to do and what we want to do and the way that we do it, you want to completely buy in and be part of it. And you have fun, everything doesn't always go your way, but you got to enjoy the moments that do. And I think that's what this team does, is when you have a little bit of success, we have a lot of fun with it, and because it's usually earned. So, it makes the big moments a lot of fun, but yeah, that's just a small example of how guys enjoy themselves out there.
Well, Paul, I know you're not surprised, but just going down 2-0 early, Toronto seems to have a lot of momentum. How just impressed were you with the resilience of the group to push back and to have pretty much all 4 lines involved in that pushback?
Well, we kind of had that start. We just overskated one, got behind it, and there's just so much time left on the clock. I don't think it's hard to keep your group in. Pretty veteran group of guys that you should stay in the fight that you can.
Paul, the big decision there to go with the Lundell line against Matthews' line, what went into that? Were you thinking that before the game at all, and how did you like how it materialized?
Well, we've done it before. I don't think the Lundell line has looked like that in times past, but we've done it before when you get behind it, just to free Barkov and bend it a little bit. They did a really good job with it. I don't think they're a checking line, right? I don't think they're a trading line. They're pretty responsible guys. But also switch back in overtime because the best have to go against the best, and let them decide, let the players decide. So I don't think it had much to do with the game or the outcome of it. They're a bunch of really good players on both teams. They played against each other. I don't think the matchup had really anything to do with it.
We talked to Jonah after the game. He said you told him yesterday that he was going to be playing. Was that whole switch out the fourth line done by design, or was there injury or illness or something? And how did you think that fourth line looked?
Oh, they were good. They were good. They looked the way they... You know what happened was, in the last month of the season, we had so many guys banged up and out of the lineup that line played, and there was one night on a analytics for and against game that it was plus 11, and we haven't had a forward at that number all year. So there's also something about the man and the line, like they work so hard every single day that it just felt like we needed a bit of a style change a little bit, and they play a different style of game. But they've been good. They played really well for us in the last month and a half, like exceptionally well for us. So I've moved single players in and out, but I thought if Thomas was coming in or AJ was coming in, all three of them needed to come in. They needed to, because there's something there with the line.
We've seen Carter Verhaeghe throw more hits and more bigger hits throughout the playoffs,
Yeah.
but for tonight, for him to have 7 hits and then ahead of Brad's goal, stay out there and win a few puck battles to lead to that goal. I mean, what have you seen from him, both like tonight and this postseason, to become a more physical player that wins those crucial puck battles?
I think that he is, can't explain it or articulate it well. There's a certain frequency that he plays at that he can get himself to at playoff time. And that there's a physicality, a speed, a directness, a simplicity to his game, that when there's more chaos or more intensity, that's when he's at his best. And he's not allowed to come off the ice in overtime. That's just a rule.
How would you compare the experience of competing against Brad Marchand in a game like this versus coaching him?
I swear less.
Age is obviously relative when it comes to pro hockey players, but Brad is the oldest player playing in this series right now. In that context, I mean, how do you explain, I guess, the way he's managed to stand out among the other guys?
There's a base fitness to this, and he's well known in that, in his diligence, but also consistency. He's a very, very fit man. We traded for him. He'd come off an injury, a significant injury that he couldn't really train much with. And then he fits with that. We got a bunch of guys that love the gym. So you could just see him getting stronger and stronger. And then we got into 9 games in 15 days, right? So he played most of them. We just wore him right out. And it was actually good for him because he kind of played himself back into shape. A very, very fit man. And I would put him in the Reinhardt category of intelligence, that he's not running around burning a lot of energy. He shouldn't. He's picking his spots, when to get into holes. So he's figured it out. He came into this league. It was a way nastier league when he came in, right? And I don't think you survive at his size unless you are very, very smart, when to get in and when to get out.
Paul, you mentioned in your first response about knowing there was still time after going down early and all that, but what specifically did you see from the group in the second period that helped you spark that turnaround?
The second period was the first block of time we've had in this series that we looked to our identity. But I think that would be true.
Paul, you've said many times that once a puck drops, you don't believe momentum carries over from something. But given the stakes of tonight, the way you won it, could there be a little bit of extra oomph when that puck drops on Sunday?
It just means you have a better day tomorrow. But the context changes up until the puck dropping tomorrow. You get a 0-3 against any of these. The 8 teams that are left are all legitimate teams. They can all win. You get 0-3 to any one of these 8 teams, you're going to have a hard time getting out of that hole.
Paul, the Leafs have been pretty good in transition on the breakaway off the rush during this series. When Nylander and Nyes both have breakaways in overtime, what's going through your head on the bench?
It's just profanity.
Anything you can share with us?
Well, you don't want that.
Last question.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking on that, there was some, not the profanity
Why
part,
the fuck would
breakaway
we let that one go?
He's back.
He's back. That one's not for publication. It'd be a fine embellishment.
The some vintage Bob saves in overtime.
Yeah.
Do you think stats weren't probably what he wants them to be in this series? But
I don't think Bob cares at all about his stats. I truly don't. He never has here. Didn't love his first game, but God, he's had some bad luck around his own net, right? I mean, we've had pucks bouncing all over the place off defensemen. Maybe some comedic justice on the game winner based on what we've been doing to him in front of our net. But it doesn't faze him. It doesn't, his emotional level stays intense, but always in control and composed. So it doesn't surprise us when he does that.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, guys.